Governor-elect Kehoe has already, even during his campaign, said that he wants to bring back state control to the City of St. Louis Police Department. Obviously, you've been against that. How are you feeling that he's now renewed that again today?
Well, he's certainly entitled to his opinion and constituency that has supported him. But since I've been here, started in January of 2023, I've been down both Januaries in 2024 talking about local control versus state control, and very much I'm on the record against it. It's something that I don't think is necessary, and I think some of the things that has been asked, both by the unions and some of the officers and some of the elected officials, have been met. And we've been meeting them, we continue to meet them. So I think right now it's unnecessary. I think it's to stay under local control. And you have a police chief that's answering to a mayor, and you have a mayor that brought an outsider in for the first time in over 200-year history. And we're actually making strides in getting things done. That was some of the concerns that I heard 2 years ago.
And we saw, those various unions for the police officers, groups for the police officers who were supporting this measure. What were some of the things that, they wanted to see happen that they thought state control might meet?
Well, there were some things where it came to recruitment. It talked about the amount of police officers. We talked about pay. Recruitment has been an issue not just unique to the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, but that's across the United States. So it's not just unique to St. Louis. I don't know what state control can do to make sure that the efforts that we're making, and we are making some pretty good strides in doing some of the things with recruitment and bringing people into this profession. Secondly, they talked about pay. Now, pay was also something, there's been a disparate impact to be competitive with our surrounding county and also other jurisdictions. We, the mayor, last year gave an historic raise to our police officers and to the supervisors, and it almost up to almost $12,000. Made us competitive. And then this year we're in an economic reopener right now where we're looking at raises for the officers again. So these are the things that are being addressed. And then they talked about morale. There was a lot of things that went into morale, but right now we're starting to get people back into the profession. We're still losing a little bit to attrition. We're getting officers into the profession, but we've had close to 25 officers that had left the police department, the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, and went to other jurisdictions, that I've sworn back in the last year. And I might have 3 more that I'm swearing back in next week. So officers are coming back. They wouldn't be coming back if they didn't feel the conditions are right. The pay is somewhat competitive. And we're not going to be we're not the highest paid police department in the region, but we're working on trying to make sure that our officers are made whole.
And with state control originally, what have you heard from now people that are under your department? What did they say about state control? Because from what I'm remembering, morale was not good then either.
Well, I wasn't here for that. I've been in policing, I started over 40 years ago. This is my 4th police department. There are certain things that affect morale, but one of the things, the mayor brought in someone to take a look at some of the situations that the officers were, she heard them. And she went outside and got a police chief, that's why I'm here. And thankfully, I'm honored, I'm privileged, but I take a look at these issues. I work with the unions, I work with the Police Officers Association, Ethical Society of Policing, I work with the supervisors. Find out how we can make this department better, because it's also my goal to make sure we can improve on things in this department, bring people in, drive crime down. And one of the other things is that when I was at the Transportation and Public Safety meeting with the state senators, I've testified that crime is up and crime is out of control in the city of St. Louis. Yeah, we have our challenges. We all admit that, but these men and women of this police department are doing a tremendous job in the last couple of years and reduced homicides in 2023 to the lowest in 10 years. And this year, if you look at our CompStat sheets, we're very transparent. You can go right on our website. We're trending about 17 less homicides than last year, which was a 10-year low. So the officers are getting the job done. We have about a 17% reduction in crime from last year, and it was a reduction from years past. We are hitting levels that are pre-pandemic reductions, not because of the pandemic. So these are all the things that were brought up to me as the reasons why they want to go into state control. And the thing I asked, and I'm on the record, I said, give the new police chief a chance to try to implement some of these things. And we've hit a lot of those benchmarks. So to come back and start asking to go back under state control, there are reasons. People are used to what they liked in the past, but we're 10 years in now, and we're improving on some of the things and the concerns. So I ask, let's give it a chance. Let's continue to go to the chance. We're going in the right direction. A lot of the things are going there, and if there's any other concerns, I sit down with the union, I sit down with our officers, and I would love to sit down. I can sit down with the new governor and just explain my position and have a conversation why it would be better to stay under local control.
Why do you think it would be bad to take back state control?
I think at this point, you've had 10 years in. So whenever there's a transition, you're going to have to work out the kinks. And of course, those kinks people did not like, some didn't like going under local control. But you have to have time to transition. My worry is that all the progress we've made in the last couple of years, and people are used to a system what we have right now. Listen, we have a mayor that allows her police chief to do the job that needs to get done. She gives me autonomy to get those things done. She's removed politics out of this. I'm still held accountable. She gives me the tools to get things done. And I still answer to this mayor. And some of the things, she's given me a lot of leeway to get the things done that state control is saying they can do. So that thing, she's come through with a lot of those things. And you know what? A chief is only as good as a mayor allows them to do their job, or a commission. I don't know what a commission's like. I've only been under state control my whole life. I mean, under local control my whole life. And we've had a lot of success under that. So it is the thing that I know where we've had successes in the other places. And that's a place that I'm more comfortable being, only because I know that way works. I've never been on the other way.
I know the mayor hasn't supported that either, but also, giving you time. Like, you've only been here, it's more than a year.
Right.
And, you still feel like you need more time to really continue and do these things that they're asking for, and what the city needs too. Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, the benchmarks that they talk about, some of the things that were going on January 2023, they talked about crime, they talked about pay. We were able to address that in a CompStat methodology, and we were able to get those reductions. 17% reduction in crime. Downtown, the businesses, it's over 50% reduction in crime in downtown. From 2 years ago, it's down 42% in downtown west from 2 years ago. The neighborhoods are seeing reductions, so it's not just downtown. And the officers are doing a tremendous job in the system that I've asked them to do things and execute those things, the supervisors. So we have a lot of momentum going the right way. I'm worried if that's disrupted, we go back into a system that from 10 years ago, that we would lose a lot of that momentum. And you know what gets hurt by that? The people that we're trying to keep safe, the communities. And I say let's give this a chance to manifest into something positive under the system that we're in, because it is working. And given a chance, we're going to get to where we need to be without having to go to state control.
Even if some people don't maybe feel like it's working, it's kind of hard sometimes, especially when you have something happen outside your work or,
Mm-hmm.
Outside of your school, whatever it may be. Do you still feel like, just kind of like bear with us, like
Mm-hmm.
take a look at the numbers of what we're doing, and we'll continue to work for you?
Well, I have to ask the question back. Under state control, some of those same things are going to happen, and we're going to have to address it in the same way. So what changes? We all have to, when you have a good crime strategy, addressing under state control or city control, you're still going to have some of those incidents, and you have to respond to it in the same way. State control isn't magically going to make those things go away. It's good policing, it's good strategy, it's good leadership, and the officers going out and executing, doing a tremendous job, and we need to be able to recognize them. And a lot of those things are happening, and the mayor is looking to make those things happen, to make sure that our officers are compensated and we can be competitive, and we get more officers coming into the profession. I know we don't have that much time, but I can go into a whole thing about our recruitment and what we're doing. But go on our website, go on slmpd.org. We talk about everything in a comprehensive plan that people are following, and that's why we're getting the results that we see today. I don't know what state control can do more than what we're doing now.
The last thing I'll ask you, obviously Gabe Gore was reelected, and we have him back in the office again. That relationship has been good for the city of St. Louis. Do you think maybe some of this started rolling before we had him in place, and that maybe, will kind of push this out of view if you continue to work well with the circuit attorney's office?
Well, you take a look at, there was a circuit attorney prior to Gabe Gore. There was things that happened as I was coming into office here. That person is no longer here, and people were addressing the issues that they thought was a concern. That was happening for more than 6 years. Sometimes I think that gets confused with local control and state control. If the criminal justice system, parts of it are not working, then you're going to start to see crime go in the wrong direction. It's not just about policing, it's about prosecutors, it's about judges, defense attorneys, parole, probation, corrections. And when you start having that work in the right way, and Gabe Gore comes in, and what he's doing an amazing job. He's just reelected to the position, and we have a great relationship. Some of those things and the mistrust and the relationship that wasn't here before I got here is all being repaired. And we're building trust in the system. We might have professional disagreements. Obviously, you're going to have that in all parts of the criminal justice system. But we work fairly, we work constitutionally, we're fair to the public, we're fair to defendants, and we make sure that that all their rights are protected even after we make arrests. But at the same time, we're making sure we're protecting victims' rights. And Gabe Gore is doing that, or Circuit Attorney Gore is doing that. And our relationship, we speak all the time. I just got done with a quick conversation before I walked down here about something else that we're talking almost weekly, and then we meet almost every month officially.
Great, thank you. Anything else that you wanted to add?
I just want to add that these officers, we are down in personnel like a lot of other police departments, but I'm just so proud of the work that they continue to do to protect this city, to work with the communities. And the last thing that you got to remember, you can have the best strategies in the world, but if you don't have community engagement and the way the officers are going to community meetings, they're building trust. Our clearance rates are up. Clearance rates are a measure of trust. And our homicide clearance rates are probably one of the top in the country for an urban city, hovering around 70%, 75% last year. And that brings closure to the families. And then we're working on a lot of things when it comes to gun violence. And we're helping reduce a lot of that too, and the things that we put in place. But it wouldn't happen without the community engagement and working with our civic association, our businesses, our elected officials, and that all happens together in the rest of the criminal justice system. That's all working under local control, and I think it should stay that way.